Fact 25. Mexico City is sinking faster than Venice. Mexico City sinks up to 20 inches per year, far faster than Venice's mere millimeters. The city was built on a drained lake bed, and pumping groundwater from the aquifer below causes the soft clay to compress. Some neighborhoods have sunk over 30 feet since the early 1900s. Buildings tilt at dramatic angles, streets buckle, and the sinking creates massive cracks in infrastructure throughout the capital. The famous Palacio de Bellas Artes has sunk over 13 feet since construction. The city is literally collapsing into the empty space left by extracted water, and the problem accelerates as the population grows and water demands increase. Mexico City demonstrates the catastrophic consequences of building a megacity of 22 million people on a former lake. Engineers predict that without intervention, critical areas could become uninhabitable within decades as subsidence accelerates. Fact 24. The Yucatán Peninsula is one giant limestone sponge. The entire Yucatán Peninsula is flat limestone with no surface rivers whatsoever. All water flows underground through a vast network of caves and cenotes spanning thousands of miles. The limestone is so porous that rain disappears immediately into the ground, creating the world's most extensive underwater cave system. This underground river system stretches hundreds of miles beneath the jungle, connecting cenotes across the entire peninsula. Divers have explored only a fraction of this subterranean world, discovering ancient Maya artifacts and Ice Age animal remains in flooded caves. The Yucatán proves that major regions can exist without a single river on the surface. The entire peninsula floats on a massive freshwater lens, trapped between the porous limestone and denser saltwater below. This unique hydrology allowed the Maya civilization to thrive in a region with no surface water sources. Fact 23. Mexico has the world's smallest volcano. Cuexcomate, near Puebla, stands only 43 feet tall, making it officially the world's smallest volcano. The tiny cone is actually an inactive geyser that resembled a volcano when it formed in 1064. You can walk to the bottom of the crater via a spiral staircase built inside the cone. Despite its diminutive size, Cuexcomate is a genuine volcanic feature with a crater 23 feet in diameter. The miniature volcano sits in a residential neighborhood where locals treat it as a quirky geographic curiosity. Scientists debate whether it's truly a volcano or simply a volcanic vent, but its official designation stands. The miniature volcano demonstrates that volcanic geography comes in all scales, from massive stratovolcanoes to structures barely taller than a house. Fact 22. The Copper Canyon is larger and deeper than the Grand Canyon. Copper Canyon in Chihuahua is actually a network of 6 interconnected canyons covering 25,000 square miles. The combined system is 4 times larger than the Grand Canyon, with some sections reaching 6,000 feet deep, deeper than the Grand Canyon's deepest point. The canyons were carved by 6 rivers, flowing through the Sierra Madre Occidental over millions of years. The canyon system gets its name from the distinctive copper-green color of the canyon walls. The Tarahumara people have lived in these canyons for centuries, building communities on narrow canyon ledges and maintaining ancient traditions. The remote location has prevented mass tourism, leaving the canyons largely pristine. Copper Canyon is Mexico's most spectacular geographic feature that most people have never heard of, rivaling anything in the American Southwest for dramatic scenery and geological significance. Fact 21. Mexico City was built on top of an Aztec city built on a lake. Tenochtitlan, the Aztec capital, was constructed on artificial islands and chinampas in Lake Texcoco, starting in 1325. The Spanish conquistadors drained the lake and built Mexico City directly on top of the Aztec ruins between 1521 and 1524. The modern city sits on unstable lakebed sediments up to 100 meters deep, creating perfect conditions for earthquake amplification and sinking. Beneath Mexico City's streets lie the canals, temples, and pyramids of Tenochtitlan, with new archaeological discoveries happening during construction projects. The city is built on layers of civilization and geography that refuse to stay buried. The decision to drain the lake and build on the soggy soil created problems that plague Mexico City to this day, including flooding, subsidence, and earthquake vulnerability. The lakebed amplifies seismic waves, making earthquakes far more destructive than they would be on solid ground. Fact 20. The Sonoran Desert contains forests of cacti. The Sonoran Desert in northwest Mexico contains the densest concentration of cacti on Earth, with some areas having over 100 cacti per acre. Saguaro cacti grow over 40 feet tall and weigh up to 2 tons, creating actual cactus forests that dominate the landscape. The desert receives 2 rainy seasons, summer monsoons and winter rains, making it biologically richer than most deserts on the planet. The Sonoran is one of the wettest and most biodiverse deserts in the world, supporting over 2,000 plant species and 500 animal species. The organ pipe cactus, cardon, and sanita cacti create diverse cactus communities. This desert challenges every assumption about what deserts should look like, proving that arid regions can support incredible biodiversity and biomass when conditions are right. Fact 19. Cenotes are portals to an underground world. Cenotes are sinkholes that provide access to the Yucatan's underground river system, created when limestone caves collapse and expose groundwater. Over 6,000 cenotes have been discovered, with thousands more hidden beneath jungle canopy waiting to be found. The Maya considered cenotes sacred portals to Xibalba, the underworld, and conducted ceremonies and sacrifices at these sites. Many cenotes contain human remains, jade, pottery, and golden artifacts from ancient rituals spanning centuries. These water-filled caves connect in a vast subterranean network that divers have traced for over 200 miles underwater. The Sistema Sac Actun is the world's longest underground river at 215 miles mapped so far. Cenotes provided the only freshwater sources for Maya cities, making them essential for civilization's survival. The underground rivers still supply drinking water to modern Yucatan communities. Fact 18. Mexico sits on 5 tectonic plates. Mexico is one of the most geologically complex countries on Earth, sitting where 5 tectonic plates meet and interact. The collision and subduction of the North American, Cocos, Pacific, Rivera, and Caribbean plates creates constant seismic activity throughout the country. This explains why Mexico experiences frequent earthquakes, with the September 1985 earthquake killing over 10,000 people in Mexico City. The country has 48 active volcanoes, more than any country in the Americas except the United States. The tectonic complexity creates the Trans-Mexican Volcanic Belt, the Sierra Madre mountain ranges, and the deep oceanic trenches off the Pacific coast. Mexico's dramatic topography, from coastal plains to 18,000-foot volcanic peaks, results from millions of years of tectonic collisions, subduction, and volcanic activity. The country's geography is defined by the violent meeting of continental plates that continue to reshape the landscape with every earthquake and eruption. Fact 17. The Chicxulub crater killed the dinosaurs. The asteroid that ended the dinosaur age struck the Yucatan Peninsula 66 million years ago with the force of 10 billion Hiroshima bombs. The Chicxulub crater measures 110 miles across and 12 miles deep, but it's buried beneath 2,000 feet of limestone deposited over millions of years. The impact created a crater so large it's visible from space using gravity measurements and magnetic anomaly maps. The asteroid's strike vaporized rock, created tsunamis over 300 feet tall, triggered global wildfires, and ejected debris that blocked sunlight for years. The impact winter that followed killed 75% of all species on Earth. Mexico's geography includes the site of Earth's most catastrophic impact event in the last 100 million years, the exact spot where the Cretaceous period ended and the age of mammals began. Fact 16. Lake Chapala is disappearing before our eyes. Lake Chapala, Mexico's largest natural lake, has shrunk dramatically over the past century due to water diversion and climate change. Water extraction for agriculture and Mexico City has reduced the lake by 80% during severe droughts. The lake that once covered 417 square miles has shrunk to less than 100 square miles during dry periods. The lakeside communities of Chapala and Ajijic face water shortages and ecological collapse as the lake retreats. Fish populations have crashed, and millions of migratory birds no longer stop at the lake. The lake demonstrates how water management and climate change destroy natural geography within a single human lifetime. Scientists warn that Chapala may vanish entirely within decades if current water use patterns continue, eliminating Mexico's largest lake and destroying ecosystems that depend on it. Fact 15. Mexico has pink lakes that look photoshopped. Las Coloradas in Yucatán contains bright pink salt lagoons that look completely artificial. The vivid pink color comes from salt-loving algae and brine shrimp that produce carotenoid pigments in hypersaline water. The lakes are commercial salt ponds that have operated for decades, producing sea salt through solar evaporation. The pink lagoons look so unreal that visitors assume photos are edited, but the color is entirely natural and visible with the naked eye. The color intensity varies with season and salt concentration, ranging from pale pink to deep magenta. These lagoons prove that extreme geography creates surreal colors that seem impossible in nature. Similar pink lakes exist in Australia and Africa, but Mexico's are among the most vibrant. If you're shocked by these facts, hit subscribe. There's more coming. Fact 14. The monarch butterfly migration ends in Mexican mountains. Millions of monarch butterflies migrate up to 3,000 miles from Canada to specific Oyamel fir forests in Michoacán every autumn. The butterflies cluster so densely on trees that branches break from the combined weight of thousands of insects. The monarchs return to the exact same trees their ancestors used, despite never having been there before. The migration represents one of nature's most remarkable navigation feats, with butterflies finding specific mountain forests across an entire continent. These Mexican mountain forests between 9,800 and 11,800 feet elevation provide the perfect microclimate for winter survival. The forests are cool enough to slow butterfly metabolism, but warm enough to prevent freezing. These specific mountains are essential for the species' survival, making their protection critical for the entire North American monarch population. Fact 13. Mexico's deepest cave plunges over 1,500 meters underground. Sistema Cheve in Oaxaca reaches depths exceeding 1,500 meters, 4,921 feet, making it one of the world's deepest caves. The cave system remains partially unexplored due to extreme technical difficulty, requiring rappelling down waterfalls and navigating underground rivers. Explorers have spent weeks underground pushing the cave deeper, discovering new passages that may eventually connect to other systems. The cave represents Mexico's vast underground geography that remains unmapped and largely unknown. Underground rivers carved these passages through limestone over millions of years, creating cathedral-sized chambers and vertical shafts. Mexico's surface geography hides entire worlds beneath the ground, with hundreds of deep cave systems awaiting discovery. Fact 12. The Sea of Cortez is the world's aquarium. The Sea of Cortez, Gulf of California, between Baja California and mainland Mexico, contains 900 fish species and one-third of the world's marine mammal species. Jacques Cousteau called it the world's aquarium due to its incredible biodiversity and crystal-clear waters. The sea's unique geography creates upwelling that brings nutrient-rich water from the deep, feeding an explosion of life. The narrow sea acts as a giant marine nursery where species spawn and juveniles grow protected from open ocean predators. Blue whales, the largest animals ever to exist, feed in the Sea of Cortez. This body of water is one of Earth's most biologically productive, supporting more life per square mile than most oceans. The sea is only 5 million years old, created as Baja California split from the mainland. Fact 11. Popocatépetl is an active volcano, next to 25 million people. Popocatépetl, just 43 miles from Mexico City, erupts regularly with ash plumes visible from the capital reaching heights of 30,000 feet. Over 25 million people live within the volcano's danger zone, making it one of the world's most dangerous volcanoes. The volcano's name means smoking mountain in Nahuatl, named by the Aztecs who witnessed frequent eruptions. Popocatépetl has erupted more than 20 times since 1519 when Cortés arrived. The volcano sits at 17,802 feet elevation, high enough for year-round glaciers despite being in the tropics. Mexico City exists in the shadow of a volcano that could erupt catastrophically at any time, creating an existential threat that millions simply accept as part of life. Fact 10. Baja California is separating from Mexico. The Baja California Peninsula sits on the Pacific Plate, while mainland Mexico sits on the North American Plate. The peninsula is moving northwest at about 2 inches per year as the plates diverge. In 10 million years, Baja will separate completely and become an island moving toward Alaska. The Gulf of California is actively widening as the plates pull apart, creating one of Earth's youngest seas. Underwater volcanic vents in the Gulf release superheated water as the seafloor spreads. Mexico is being torn apart by tectonic forces in slow motion, demonstrating continental rifting in action. Eventually, Baja will be thousands of miles from Mexico, drifting across the Pacific as an isolated island. Fact 9. Mexico has a desert with moving sand dunes. The Samalayuca Dunes south of Ciudad Juarez cover 150 square miles of pure sand in the Chihuahuan Desert. The dunes migrate constantly, driven by wind across the landscape at rates of several meters per year. Some dunes reach heights of 60 feet and advance across the desert-burying vegetation. The dunes look like the Sahara despite being in North America, with crescent barchans and massive star dunes. These wandering dunes prove that Mexico contains every type of landscape, from tropical jungles to true sand deserts. The dune field threatens highways and communities as it advances. Fact 8. Hidden waterfalls exist deep in the Copper Canyon. Basasiachic Falls plunges 807 feet in a single drop, making it one of Mexico's tallest waterfalls. The falls are hidden deep in the Sierra Madre and require hours of hiking through rugged canyon country to reach. Dozens of spectacular waterfalls throughout the Copper Canyon remain largely unknown to outsiders, known only to the Tarahumara people. The remote geography has protected these natural wonders from tourism and development. Mexico's canyons hide waterfalls that rival any in the world, accessible only to those willing to hike for days through wilderness. Fact 7. The Sian-Caan biosphere contains 3 ecosystems in one. Sian-Caan in Quintana Roo encompasses tropical forests, freshwater and coastal wetlands, and Caribbean coral reefs in one protected area. The reserve covers 1.3 million acres and contains over 1,000 animal species, including jaguars, pumas, and manatees. Ancient Maya ruins dot the landscape, with temples emerging from jungle canopy. 23 recorded Maya sites exist within the reserve. The reserve demonstrates how Mexico's geography creates ecosystem diversity within small areas. Sian-Caan is one of Mexico's most important protected areas, preserving landscapes from mountains to ocean depths. Fact 6. Mexico City's canals are all that remain of Lake Texcoco. Xochimilco's floating gardens and canals are the last remnants of the lake system that once covered 500 square miles of the Valley of Mexico. The Chinampas, artificial islands, were created by the Aztecs for agriculture. building up soil and vegetation in the shallow lake. These canals are all that remain of a massive lake ecosystem that sustained millions. The floating gardens are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, preserving ancient agricultural techniques. Xochimilco preserves the ghost of geography that was destroyed when the Spanish drained the lakes to build their city. The canals face threats from pollution and urban sprawl that continues consuming the remaining wetlands. Fact 5. The Trans-Mexican Volcanic Belt contains 450 volcanoes. The volcanic belt stretches 620 miles across central Mexico from coast to coast, from Colima to Veracruz. The belt contains 450 volcanic vents, cinder cones, stratovolcanoes, and calderas, including some of Mexico's highest peaks. The volcanoes result from the Cocos Plate subducting beneath the North American Plate at 7 centimeters per year. This volcanic chain defines central Mexico's topography and creates the country's most fertile soils from weathered volcanic ash. Mexico's central highlands exist because of volcanic geography that continues building mountains. The volcanic belt includes Popocatépetl, Iztaccíhuatl, Nevado de Toluca, Pico de Orizaba, and Colima, all active or potentially active volcanoes. Fact 4. Sumidero Canyon's walls rise 3,000 feet vertically. Sumidero Canyon in Chiapas features sheer walls rising 3,000 feet straight above the Grijalva River flowing through the bottom. The canyon was carved over millions of years as the river cut through limestone and other sedimentary rocks. Waterfalls cascade from the canyon rim into the river below, creating scenes of dramatic vertical relief. The canyon rivals any in North America for sheer walls and dramatic scenery. Boat tours navigate the river through the canyon, passing beneath cliffs that rise half a mile straight up. Sumidero demonstrates Mexico's incredible canyon geography beyond the famous Copper Canyon. Fact 3. The Isla Espiritu Santo contains desert meeting sea. This island in the Sea of Cortez is a barren desert island surrounded by rich marine life in crystal clear waters. Sea lions, dolphins, and whale sharks inhabit the waters around completely arid land. The contrast between arid desert and abundant sea creates surreal geography where extremes meet. The island is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, protecting both terrestrial and marine ecosystems. Espiritu Santo shows how Mexico's geography creates impossible contrasts, with desert and ocean existing side by side. Fact 2. Mexico's highest peak is a stratovolcano named Citlaltépetl. Pico de Orizaba rises 18,491 feet, making it the third highest peak in North America after Denali and Logan. The volcano is dormant but not extinct, last erupting in 1846, with ash falls reported 100 miles away. The peak is high enough to maintain year-round glaciers, despite being at 19 degrees north latitude in the tropics. Indigenous people considered the mountain sacred, calling it Citlaltépetl, meaning Star Mountain. The mountain dominates the landscape between Mexico City and Veracruz, visible from both cities on clear days. Citlaltépetl can be climbed in a single day from high camps, making it one of the world's most accessible high-altitude peaks. Fact 1. The Ring of Cenotes marks the Chicxulub crater's edge. A semicircular ring of cenotes in Yucatán follows the exact outline of the buried Chicxulub impact crater with remarkable precision. The asteroid impact fractured the limestone in a perfect circle 66 million years ago, and cenotes formed preferentially along the fracture line where rock was weakened. The ring of sinkholes is 110 miles in diameter, matching the crater's outer rim exactly. The cenotes are literal windows into the crater that killed the dinosaurs, marking ground zero of Earth's last mass extinction. Scientists use the cenote ring to map the crater buried beneath younger limestone. Mexico's geography preserves evidence of the most catastrophic event in Earth's recent history, visible only through the pattern of sinkholes that mark where an asteroid ended an era. The ring demonstrates how ancient impacts continue to influence geography millions of years later, with the fracture zones determining where sinkholes form today. Which Mexico geography secret shocked you most? Drop a comment and subscribe for more hidden geographic truths.